the guy that helped me originate Electric Playground and get it on the airwaves back in 1997. We shot before. Where do you go? Oh, there he is. Okay. Our EP's former host, Tommy Tallarico, joins us today. He is also the creator of Video Games Live, which has toured for 10 years?
16,
Jesus, oh my God.
bitch.
Time just goes. How come things are so fast? And today, he is announcing to the world that he is now the brand new president of Intellivision.
What?
What? You're the president of a video game
Vic,
company.
I haven't showed you this. You want to see the coolest card ever?
Oh my God, that's awesome. I guess a million of those are going out at E3 this year, right? You're going to E3. You've been very public. Who's going to E3? You've been all over Facebook. How did you keep this secret?
Well, because it was always such, you'd set goals that are like so incredibly like crazy, like, oh, I want to do a video game concert, or, we want to do a show about television, TV show about video games. There's always these crazy goals and, amazing dreams. And so, I was just working so hard to see if it could actually be a reality. We've been working on making this announcement for almost 9 months now, so it's been a long time to get to this point. So, but now the real
congratulations. When I found out that this was happening, I am overjoyed because this is the perfect fit for Tommy. Anybody that's known Tommy for a while knows that his love for this brand and this technology and these games is so genuine. He would talk my ear off about Intellivision. And truthfully, I wasn't an Intellivision guy. I never had that system. I was an Atari guy, and I had the ColecoVision, but I wasn't an Intellivision.
just like me and you both. We should review the Atari and the Intellivision together. We could fight.
And it was so funny. It's the Batman Spider-Man thing, right? I was the DC guy, and you were the Marvel guy. Yeah. But you just carried this like passion for this idea, for this concept, this group of people that created another impossible dream. The original Intellivision was an impossible dream, and it was the first console war. Yeah. And we got to know the Intellivision people through working with them on Electric Playground, but it just is the perfect fit. So above and beyond all of the news and the hype and everything else, all the work that's now going to be a part of your life, congratulations, because this must just be the craziest dream coming true as a kid that grew up just loving this business to now you're leading the company and you're going to launch a brand new machine based around it. It's so cool, bro.
Yeah, and it's so what's so crazy about it is that like a lot of guys, and because you've been in this situation as well, is you get in the industry initially because of your love and passion, for this whole thing. And then I came through music, and you came through TV, and then a lot of people reach the point where it's like, okay, now we're going to go make games now, right? You made a transition at one point, EA, right? You went over. Was it EA?
I worked at United Front Games for 4 months between season 2 and 3 of. I didn't know if we were going to get a season 3. Yeah.
Right, yeah. So the jump, the obvious jump for folks. Let's start my own game company. Cliffy B, right? Left. Boss Key and this and that. David Perry leaving Virgin, Shiny. So for this, I was like looking at that. I'm like, yeah, everybody kind of does that because I've certainly had, ideas about games and where I want to see the industry go. But you can't really impact the industry with like one game on one system or one company, So I'm like, you know what? Why is it not crazy why don't I just skip the whole development phase? Why don't we just create the hardware? And then that way the message can be resonated, and then people will come to us to hopefully, have the same vision and passion as we do. And this is what it's all about. This is what I want to, and I know you're really going to love, I think you're gonna resonate with this as well as I think a lot of people, especially our age, are going to. But I look at the industry, and more than anyone, I've never met anyone in the planet that knows more about video games than you do, right? Oh, so you know this more than anyone. And I know a lot of people who know a lot about video games, so that's the highest compliment ever. But the thing is that, I play games and I love games. Don't get me wrong. I'm not like, oh, gaming industry sucks and blah, 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 this and that. That's not me. I love it all. I love my PlayStation, love my Xbox, played Zelda, love the Switch, all that stuff. But where I see a huge gap, a huge change, is that when me and you grew up, Vic, we played video games with our family, right? Our mom and dad played with us. It was a different time. Back in, you had to be alive in the late 70s and early 80s to remember a time when there was no such thing as a gamer.
Yeah.
Everyone played video games, right? My mom would take me to the pizza parlor and she would play Miss Pac-Man with me.
Yeah.
There was no hardcore gamer, this kind of gamer platform.
It wasn't
everybody.
A club. It wasn't
a club.
It wasn't a clubhouse. And you're right. It was like it suddenly just blipped to life, right? Like Atari and then a television and they just sort of weren't there, and then they appeared, and all of this magic started happening on television screens and arcade screens, and we were all awestruck. We were all dumbfounded by this new technology, this new entertainment.
Exactly. And where I see gaming now is that you're pretty much hardcore gamer, or you don't touch a controller,
right?
Or you're a casual gamer on your phone.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you the problem with mobile games. Again, love that there's so many out. There's two things that annoy me about mobile gaming. One, it's a very solitary experience, right? So even though the idea of simple and fun is part of that, whole ecosystem, the reality is that it's not that family part of it, that communication element. Yeah, there's a couple games you can play, multiplayer, I get it.
Yep.
I'm talking about overall, when somebody's playing a game on their phone, they're waiting for their plane to take off, or they're waiting for the bus, or they're bored in a car for 4 minutes or whatever, right? So so that's the one thing I don't like about mobile gaming. The second thing is that I always feel whenever I download a game, and I know you feel strongly about this as well, I always feel like there's some kind of money grab going on.
Yeah.
Might not be initially, maybe it's a weekend, but I'm going to get either advertised to, or they're going to try to get me to suck me in so they can take as much money as possible. And by the way, I get it. I respect it. That's okay. But that's not what we want to build. We're going to build a system for everyone, which is what Intellivision and Atari back in the day, but even more so in television, that's what we were, right?
Yeah.
You could put a controller. My mom, you could put a controller in her hand and she could play Intellivision skiing because it was down, left, right. And I mean, how many times have me and you over the last 25 years have had a discussion about what were they thinking with the controls? Yes. It's so complex and this and that. Look, me and my dad used to play Intellivision baseball, you're out, and Intellivision football all the time.
Yeah.
Well, I thought, hey, Dad, he was over, it was a week-long weekend like the one we just had. Dad was over a couple years ago. Dad, you remember, boy, some of my greatest memories growing up were playing with my dad and my younger brother and my mom on the same. Dad, we should try to play a football game now. And what do? You put in Madden. Just handing a controller to a non-gamer is a non-starter. And then explaining the menus and the this and the that. People don't realize, gamers don't realize how intimidating and scary a PlayStation controller, how aggressive it is, right? Yeah. And so that we are going to I can't play video games with my dad anymore.
Yeah.
Isn't that a damn shame?
Well, you bring up a great point because clearly what's happened is Nintendo has had this phenomenal success, like moving major hardware units of the NES Classic and the SNES Classic. And I see so many pictures of parents showing these games to their kids. So kids with these with old classic controllers in their hands, learning these games. for the
For the
first
first
time.
time.
And
Yeah.
that's exactly what those machines are the conduit for, is that they gather a group of people to kind of reappreciate this classic art and this classic kind of, inclusiveness that video games were about. And
Exactly.
they
And
needed to
video
be.
games are not inclusive
Well, they
anymore.
needed to be
They're
back
not.
then because they were
Yeah.
carving out the business. They were developing it. They were sort of bringing, people to the medium. Now it's such a
That's
sophisticated
right.
market, and people have all of the algorithms and all of the spreadsheets based on exactly how many people are going to buy this. And it's like the business just said, we've sold enough, and we've got enough people in. That's good enough. And,
Yeah,
and there's an
it blows
opportunity
my mind.
for people to come out with, accessible experiences.
Exactly. And I thought the Nintendo Wii did it amazing.
Absolutely.
They saw the gap that I'm talking about now. They saw that hole.
Nintendo does.
They sold the Nintendo Wii. My mom has bought 2 video game consoles in her entire life.
Yeah.
One was Christmas in 1980. She bought an Intellivision.
Yeah.
And 2, she bought a Nintendo Wii. Here's where Nintendo, I feel, dropped the ball. They identified this market. Miyamoto, genius that he is, said, let's make the controls easy and fun and simple. My mom sees a commercial of old people bowling like this. She loves it. She goes out and she buys it. But then here's the issue. They didn't really follow up hardcore with those outsiders. Yeah, they did the Wii Fit. Yeah. But they never really, the focus wasn't, okay, what can we give Tommy's mom this month?
Yeah.
They just kind of rested on their laurels a little bit, I think. And then they started doing tennis and everything else.
And a lot of the software that came out, I mean, we were reviewing all of those games, and there was almost too many copycats that weren't anywhere near that sort of Wii Sports kind of quality right out of the gate. And a lot of people bought the Wii and only bought that Wii Sports experience, and that's all they ever played. Yep. Clearly that's going to be a challenge for Intellivision now. Like, how are you going to package this and get people in, and then also educate them? And
I got the answers.
Okay, how are you going to do it?
So here's one thing that especially guys like you and me who've been around forever, this is what we know. We know that game systems are either made or broken depending on the launch titles. Period. End of story.
Yeah.
End of discussion.
Yeah.
Whether it's this new system called the Sega Genesis that no one heard of, boom, Sonic the Hedgehog. Super Nintendo, Super Mario World, Crash Bandicoot on the PlayStation, Halo on the Xbox, right? And then you look at the systems that didn't have those, 3DO, the Ouya recently, right?
Yep.
They didn't have that killer app. If you do not launch with the most amazing stuff out of the gate, then you're dead on delivery. Look, people have been asking me all day long in all the interviews I've been doing and stuff. They say, well, tell us what the specs are going to be. What kind of chip? What kind of graphic chip? Blah, 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 blah. And that's a very typical video
that's
game.
That's not the story.
Now, no. Yeah. And by the way, Vic, you know me. I'm the biggest graphic whore you've met, right? I mean, when we review games,
you're definitely one kind of whore.
Oh, there you go. So the graphics are important. Think about this. Graphics to our generation were always super important. Why? Because when we started, it was a white freaking rectangle. Yeah. And we could move it up and down. And then we got color. And then we got sound. And then we got cartoons. And then we got 3D. And so for us, every single time we see newer, more realistic graphics, we freak out because we came from nothing.
We're there. We're in the clubhouse.
But you talk to any gamer who's like 20 and under, they don't care about graphics.
Yeah.
Retro. Look at games like Undertale, Minecraft, right?
Dude, there's Celeste, Owlboy. I'm playing tons of these games, and I'm loving them. I mean, the Mega Man collection is out now. We're going to be streaming some Street Fighter collection at the end of this. There's the Sega Genesis collection. Retro is amazing.
And it's all, what I'm saying is graphics don't really matter. right? It's all about the games. So to answer your question, we must have a bunch of triple A, amazingly fun games to play. And the advantage that we have is because of our long legacy, 40 plus years, we have an extensive, amazing catalog that we can draw from and update. For example, and one of the rules of the system is if you can't explain the game in under 15 seconds, we don't want it on the system.
Right.
If you have to have a manual to follow along, we don't want it on the system, right? So a game like Shark, for example,
yep.
you're a small fish in a pond. There's smaller fish and there's bigger fish. You have to eat the smaller fish to start growing bigger, and you have to avoid the big fish, and then a shark comes out and you have to avoid him and nip his tail.
So it's like freeform Pac-Man in a way.
Like freeform Pac-Man, okay. Exactly, right? So that's a great gameplay mechanic, a great thing. Now, and that was the original Intellivision game. How can we now make this amazing and better? Instead of one screen, can we, swim around? Can the kelp look beautiful? Can the rays come through the thing? But it's still a 2D experience. Right? It's in a 3D world, but a 2D experience. We don't need massive amounts of, power to create these amazing worlds like Nintendo created with Zelda and all this. That's not what we're looking to do. Right. Baseball is a perfect example. You look at the new MLB games. I seriously can't tell the difference if I'm watching a real TV or the game at this point. Yeah. But hand that controller to my mom or dad, and they put it down within seconds. How about a baseball game like the old Intellivision baseball game? One screen, people on the thing. You hit a place, you highlight it. Simple. You want to pitch, you press down. You want to bat, you press one button and run. That's what it's all about, and that's what we're going to bring back. But with look, the graphics aren't photorealistic, but they're going to be great graphics, great audio. But the most important thing, the best gameplay. And on launch, I'll tell you, I'll give you a little exclusive here. We're going to have all of the old legacy Intellivision games, the ones that we can get, because most of them we own, but there's some like, Tron Deadly Discs. Right. We got to talk to we got He-Man, Masters of the Universe, Burger Time. We have to get those licenses, and we're talking to all those people now. Yeah. So the machine will have all that legacy stuff. No worries. But that's not what the focus of the machine is. We're just doing that as a bonus. Here's free 80 games.
It's the expected.
So that we can keep the legacy going, and if nothing else, a history lesson, right? Of the way it used to be. But the game but then the system's going to come with at least 7 brand new updated games. Again, free on the system. The system's going to be able to connect to Wi-Fi. Yep. You're going to have leaderboards, which is fun with some of the games. But the store is going to have at least 20 to 50 games. We're saying at least 20, but we want 20 to 50 games on launch in the store, ready to go. Now, the 7 games that it's coming with are going to they're going to hit all the genres. You're going to get sports, action, adventure, puzzle, edutainment for the kids. And we literally, I put a big map up on the whiteboard, and I said, okay, we got young girls, middle-aged women, and grandmas. We have young boys, we have men, we have grandpas. And now let's start filling in the gaps. Boom, bowling. Would Grandpa like a fun, easy bowling game? Yes, he would. Boom, let's check that mark. So there's all that kind of stuff that we're looking at. But the games inside are going to be, the games on the available in the store, they're not going to be expensive. You can consider something that's like more than a cell game, more than a mobile game, but less than something you'd purchase like in the Sony. So $299, $599.
Are you going to be working with some established indie developers that are making games for Steam and making games for the other platforms and stuff too? Are we going to see some of those titles?
Absolutely. We're actively seeking out, because there's so many amazing games on even Cell. on mobile that no one's ever even seen or heard. Some talented kids out there that are making stuff that no one's seeing because it's in a sea of 1,000 releases a week.
Right.
So we're actively seeking out those people and saying, hey, we really love this mechanic that you do.
Yeah.
Let's make it into a bigger thing. And again, we're not porting games, though. I don't want people to think we're taking games from the cell phone. That's what the Ouya tried to do.
Yeah.
It was a disaster. We're not interested in doing that. Right. But the other thing, and you're going to love this, this is going to be Electric Playground, Tommy and Vic approved. No game is going to go on the system if it's below a 7. So it has to be at least a 7 out of 10. So we are going to be super duper restrictive, which no console, let's think about it.
Well, Nintendo used to have that quality seal.
They used to have it back on the NES, and then by the end of the NES, and then by the Super Nintendo, all bets were off because now they had to compete with Sega and Sony and Microsoft. So it was like, well, we're going back to that. Imagine if you're a parent, okay, and you realize 100% that whatever game you get, it's going to be quality. And here's the other thing. This is the kicker. Are you ready for this? What if you could have a system that parents could trust 100%? Now, I don't want to give away what it is because it's going to be a separate press release and a big announcement in a couple of weeks. But even the Nintendo machine, you can play Skyrim and Resident Evil on and this and that, right?
Yep.
What if there was a machine, which is funny coming from me that I'm even saying this, right? Because I think
I'm wondering who is in front of me here.
Right. But what if
you're a vegan now, so that explains everything, I think.
That's all crazy, right? But what if you had a machine that parents can trust? Without giving away too much, that's all I'm going to say about that.
Okay.
But wouldn't it be a different way to view things? Here's the deal, Vic. I want parents...
You want families to play.
I want families to play. I want parents to go out and buy a video game system instead of being asked by their kids to buy them a system. And here's the other thing to think about. How many times have you see this probably a lot with parents, but where they give their kid the iPad or the phone, the tablet or the phone as a babysitter.
Yeah.
Right? And and then that same parent 3 hours later will say to me, oh, God, they're always playing those games. We can't get them off them. Well, you're the dumbass who gave them the thing in the first place. So we've raised a generation of people who've been raised by video games.
Don't put dumbass in your press release.
No, I won't. This is all off the record, right? This is just me and you.
Yeah, nobody's paying
Skype,
attention.
Right?
This is just our private Skype call. Yes.
Okay, I thought it was just a Skype call. But the point being is that video games have now become the babysitter for parents, and then those same parents complain that they're such a solitary thing, and they have their head in the thing, and they don't even talk to me, and they look at me anymore.
Yeah.
Let's change that.
Yeah.
Let's build a system where parents and kids are coming together and playing and communicating and talking. And one more thing I got to tell you along these lines. When me and my brother were growing up, he's 7 years younger than me. We played a game on the Intellivision. It was called It was from the Electric Company. It was called Math Fun.
Yeah.
Right? And what Math Fun was, you picked a jungle character. It was a gorilla. You picked a lion, a giraffe, whatever. We each picked it. And then it would give us math questions. And you would run down the thing, and then you'd stop at a math problem. And depending on what we put in at the beginning of the game, how old are you, right? I'm 12, he's 7. It would give us math problems based on
that's cool.
Our level of ability.
Yeah.
So my whole and we're bringing back Math Fun. But my point being is that why can't we create a video game system where a hardcore gamer, an 8-year-old girl, and an 80-year-old grandfather can't be on relatively the same level? Because I got news for you. If you bring somebody in and they've been playing Madden football for a year, and I'm a pretty good gamer, and we get together, and he says, hey, have you played the new Madden football? No, I haven't. Let's be honest. That person is going to destroy me in that game, it's going to take me a year to get up to the level of that person playing. I don't have that kind of time. Do you?
Yeah.
Let's level the playing field again for everyone involved. That's our mission.
Wow. All right, I've got some questions, and I'm sure that we've got one or two from the chat. And Blake, if you can give us a few, that would be amazing. But you're in the hardware game now, and the Intellivision has a history of hardware. Are you guys putting any kind of emulation for the old cartridges so you can slap the old cartridges and play in the game, or are you guys going to say no?
No,
okay.
no, only because we're going to have all the old games right on the hard drive, so there's no reason to do that. Yeah.
Okay. What about physical releases for the game system itself? Are you going to have a new cartridge or discs or anything like that? No,
it's all going to be Wi-Fi.
It's all going to be Wi-Fi.
And wait till you see these controllers. It's going to be crazy, redefining it.
Are they wireless?
Yes.
Okay. Is there the Switch has come out and really kind of changed Nintendo's fortune and really got everybody kind of thinking about consoles in a new way. Are you guys looking at the Switch and thinking maybe the Intellivision is attached to a TV, but you can walk away with it too?
No, we haven't. Well, it's going to be easy to take it with you.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like, you know, okay, I got to hook it up 5.1. I mean, it's HDMI.
Yeah.
But you know, gosh, it's hard. I can't really answer that because because of the controller thing.
Okay.
The short answer to your question is kind of yes.
Okay. Okay, cool. and I guess, I mean, when you start building hardware, you kind of have to build for today, and then you have to build iterations on where you would go, right? So you guys are probably in that kind of pipeline.
Maybe.
Okay.
We have a new term that we use internally. We call it organic hardware.
Okay.
So that's something that actually David Perry came up with that. But organic hardware is kind of so, you know, imagine not having to buy a whole brand new system because you invested in controls.
Right.
Maybe you invested in certain peripherals. Maybe you've invested into you have all your stuff on an SD card or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So we're calling it organic hardware. We want the ability to be able to have certain upgrades at certain points, not just software based.
Okay. Is David Perry involved? Is he one of the people involved in the...
If he was, I couldn't tell you.
Okay, got you. And are you working... I know that a lot of the old stalwarts, a lot of the people that were a part of Intellivision all through these 40 years are involved with this. Are they also helping to make the games now too?
Yeah, I mean, the teams right now focused on the hardware, you know, and the specs. And again, just everything that we're doing, from the controllers to the system itself to the look of it, it's all just a brand new approach.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like when the Sony comes out, you get the Sony, and then maybe you have a gold version or a silver version. We're taking that to a whole different level where, again, without giving away too much, but you know, if you really like Spider-Man, you know, maybe the console, and again, I'm not talking about wraps or anything.
Yeah.
But maybe the shape of it is even different.
Oh,
Wouldn't that be cool?
Wow.
You know, because everyone loves customizing their phones. Everybody's got a different thing on the back, and everybody's, you know, so this everything's about customization, and people have customized their consoles in the past by putting stickers on them, right?
Yeah.
Let's take that to a different level.
So this brings to mind retail partnerships and people that you're going to be working with. Have you guys got stores already ready and lined up with this? Or are you going to do it exclusively through your website? How are you guys going to sell this to people?
Yeah, it's going to be both of those things. We are going to have, you know, certain things, and again, when you have certain types of consoles and different varieties, it's all the same stuff inside, right? But when you have that kind of availability and opportunities, you can do an Amazon version, you can do a Walmart version, you could do a GameStop version, you could do a special EB Games Canada version, and maybe some of those things will have different games preloaded on them as well. Maybe there's a family version, maybe there's a hardcore gamer version, maybe there's a sports version. These are all big ideas.
Yep.
Right now, but we're trying to figure out the best way to integrate some of these ideas. But to answer your question more direct, yes, it's the it's going to be sold, wherever PlayStations are sold or whatever.
Do you have a like a price point already set? Do you
Yep.
do you know what
Not
it's
set,
Okay.
but we know the range. I can tell you this: it's going to be much less than $200.
Much less than $200.
Much less.
Okay, and you're not announcing the date today, though, right? You're not letting people know when.
No, here's what I can tell you quite honestly is that it's not coming out this Christmas and it's not coming out next Christmas.
Okay.
Right? That's what I can say. And I go back to that old Miyamoto story, which you've heard me say many times, and I think you've even heard him say this when we ask him about, how long does it take? How do you know when a game's finished? How do you get the design and the tweaking so perfect? And I remember Miyamoto telling me, because I gave the example of Super Mario World, how it's so perfect in every little pixel and everything. And from being in the development community, the way game development typically works is that you have a start date, you have a budget, and you have an end date, and you don't go to sleep until that shit's shipped, right? And so, but with Miyamoto, it's always different, and places like Blizzard and Bungie even as well too. But the idea being is that Miyamoto told me, he says, once Super Mario World was done, when it was finally complete, and everybody was happy, that's when I told the team, okay, now let's tweak it for 6 months. Imagine if every single game we played, even High Heat Baseball 2003, could have gotten a little better if they had 6 more months. Maybe not much. It might have squeaked out a 0.5, but so that's my approach to the console as well, is to say and that's why I don't want to give a target date, because we have a date in mind right now. And if at the end of that cycle, we say, okay, here's the decision. Are we 100% happy with it? Yes, we are. You know what? Let's work on it for 6 more months.
Right.
I might make that decision, and as long as we have the capital and the funds to keep that going, which we will, then it shouldn't be a problem at all. So I don't want to I want it to be more than perfect. I'm not going to do it half-assed.
Are you concerned that people are going to have too many console choices to choose? So Atari's got their thing, and Nintendo's probably going to have the N64 Classic, and we've got the main ones, and the hype for PlayStation 5 is probably going to start next year. Like, are you worried that there's too many boxes?
Well, the great thing is what you just said, though, is exactly what our mission statement is why it's outside the box. Is that, are gamers going to have PlayStation 4 and Xbox and this and that, and retro gamers are going to love this, and boom, 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 boom. There's all those things that are for gamers. Gamers are part of our circle, right? But they're on no bigger level than a non-gamer, right? So I don't want to say we're doing a console. We're not doing a console for hardcore gamers. We are not saying that at all. I am also, and again, you know me more than anyone, I'm not doing a kiddie console either, right? I don't want to think, it's just going to be a console for kids.
Right. It's not going to be like the old Intellivision flashback. It's going to be a much more sophisticated piece of hardware.
That's right. But when we look on the whiteboard and we look at every demographic in the world, every creed, every color, every background, every age, every gender, everything. So we don't say, because all those other companies, and Ouya is a perfect example, where how do we get the hardcore gamer?
Right.
How do we get, and so they look on that map and they say, we need to make something for them. I am not doing that. And again, not that I'm ignoring them, but they have just as much, in my mind,
dude.
They have just as much as a 10-year-old girl.
I mean, you're
who's never played a
speaking
video game.
to the choir because I created EP with exactly the same intentions.
Exactly.
I didn't want just video game fans to watch the material. I wanted people that like video games and love video games to be entertained by it, and the game creators themselves. But I really wanted to reach families and get more people. And when we finally were really starting to do that, it was so gratifying. There's something that you're tapping into here where you, like, I heard from families. They would come to me where their grandfather and the mom and the little kids would watch our content together, and to hear that is the greatest reward there is. And I think that's what you're chasing right now.
That's right. That's right. I mean, let me ask you, and I mean, you're a different breed of person because you live and breathe video games all day.
Yeah.
But do you and Marcy and your daughter, do you all play video games together? Like Marcy included. I know you must play with your daughter, but does Marcy join in?
No. She feels like video games stole me away. So she's
right. So she's which is true, by the way.
Which is true, yes.
But wouldn't it be amazing if Marcy, when you're out of the house, if Marcy was able to connect with your daughter playing something and having fun together?
Totally.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
Yeah.
That's what we're going to accomplish.
Well, and Ruby does love this stuff, and I feel like there's already this pull to play, but also to learn how to make, and which is cool. Is that going to be an element in Intellivision as well? Is there going to be a development kind of aspect to it too?
How old's Ruby now?
She's 6.
7? 6.
Yeah.
I want Ruby in about 4 years from now to be able to sit down, have an idea, design a game, and have it come to fruition on our platform.
Oh, wow.
That we need to, and all of the other 10-year-old girls, I want to make a rock star out of those people. We're doing something where, again, you look at the average developer out there, they're either making zero money, trying to make it on the mobile world with 10,000 other games a week, or you need $40 million, 300 people, and 3 years of your time, and it's a crapshoot. How about something in between? Yeah. How about a platform that people with 3 people in a dorm room can actually make a really high quality, refined game in about 5 or 6 months and make a bunch of money on that?
Without loot boxes, without free-to-play microtransactions.
Exactly.
You pay one price, you get the whole thing.
I want a parent to be able to give this system to their kids and know that they're not going to get jacked from every week for some new credit card bill. I want them to feel secure that every game they play is going to be high quality and E for everyone. I want honesty. I want transparency from the start. And we're coming at this. You'll see me in my press releases, online, on our website, on social media. We always talk about our family, right? We want you to be a part of the Intellivision family, not our cyber family. We want you to be there from the beginning. You're all here now as we plant this seed, and we want you all to be a part of something that's going to grow into something beautiful. And we want to be a family. You're not our community.
Yeah.
You're our family.
That's really amazing, brother. This is the new president of Intellivision, and I'm thinking of Keith Robinson, who we both knew, and you were a closer friend because he lived right in the area there. But Keith Robinson was the former president of Intellivision and was on our show frequently, and a terrific guy, wonderful person, and he sadly passed away, and I know that was a devastating bit of news over the last couple of years, and you went to the funeral and have hung out with all of these people, and I just think of his big smile on the face that he would have about all of this information, man.
Well, I got to tell you, a couple of years ago, he wanted me to come in. We were always very good friends. He'd come over my house. He'd come over for my birthday. And he was talking to me. He said, Tommy, boy, imagine what we could do together. What if, are you interested in being a part of Intellivision? Oh my God, are you kidding me? Of course. And so we always talked about it. And then, but you do other things, and it's such a big undertaking, and this and that. And so, the day I found out that he passed away, like this kind of light inside me died a little, to like, oh, we never got a chance. Life's so short, right? And you have all these great ideas and this and that, and it's like, oh no, that can never happen now. And it's like, well, wait a second. I can carry his flame. I can help to bring, that thing that would have been so amazing. I can still bring that to light. And so that's when we started having conversations with all the original Intellivision people who were part owners of the company as well. And that, the seed was planted, and it started to cultivate into what it is today. And what it's going to be in a couple of years is just going to get, higher and higher. And, it's crazy, right? We're both 50 years old now. And
thank you.
And, right? Oops, sorry. Was that supposed to be a secret? It's on your Wikipedia page. When I look back on all my heroes, right? I have a number of heroes. Walt Disney, the man. Well, guess what? He didn't open Disneyland till he was 54 years old. Enzo Ferrari didn't build his first Ferrari till he was 51 years old.
Wow. P.T.
Barnum, again, another guy much later in his life where he started to reap the success. And you can go on and on and on and on. It's like, I don't feel, I feel like my entire life and career to this point has come to this point and have been for a reason, right? Whether it was working with you on the TV show, seeing that end of the business, of course, the development side for 15 years, and now the fan side with Video Games Live over the last 15, 16 years, getting in touch with the fans, meeting all the younger audiences and the younger gamers, talking to parents with their kids at my show. And I just, every single time, Video Games Live provided that generational gap for those people, where parents could take their kids to a family-friendly show and they could discuss video games. So that's what Video Games Live is.
What happens now with Video Games Live?
It's still going.
The chat wants to know. So, but it's only going to be in television music now, though.
That's it. That's in Intellivision Live. No, Intellivision Games Live. No. It's Video Games Live is still going strong. In fact, 2018 was our biggest year we've ever had, over 60 shows. But I've created teams of people now, and you were at our recent show last month in Vancouver.
Yep, it was great.
A guy like Jason Page, who's such an amazing personality, I can send people like him out on the road and host the show and be personalities. I never want Video Games Live to just be about Tommy Tallarico, or to have me there in order for it to work. That was never my goal. It was never about me. It was always about the music and the games, promoting my friends and their incredible artistry, And so that's, lately over the last couple of years, I keep doing more and more of that. For example, my team's going to China for 5 weeks in September and October. 5 weeks to do, 17 shows over there, some crazy number.
But you won't be there?
No.
And this is the first time, though, that you're not going to go with Video Games.
No. I've been actually doing this for a couple of years.
Okay.
They were in China a month when I was on my honeymoon. Those guys were on tour in China, helping me pay for my honeymoon.
Okay, so VGL unaffected, and you will still join every once in a while, but you're
absolutely.
And your day-to-day, though, as of today, is running Intellivision.
It's both of those things. Again, I have two amazing teams, right? You're only as successful and good as the people who you have around you.
Yeah.
And with Video Games Live, these guys have been with me 10, 12 years. Right? And I have agents, and we have managers, and we have, different things. So, I see it come in, and we have marketing people and PR people and all of that stuff. That is a machine. All it needs is for me to say, yes, I want to do this show, and we're going to send that team or this and that. And you know what? I can't make that one, so won't have any guitar parts and guitar bits. I've created over 180 segments for Video Games Live.
Yeah.
I can only play 19 a night.
Yeah.
So we have so much incredible material. I don't need to be there. That being said, this is going to help flourish Video Games Live even more, because you're going to start to get that crossover. Once this message gets out there, I'll be able to, turn more non-gamers on to the beauty and, culturally significant nature of the industry through Video Games Live. So I'm excited on both fronts.
That's crazy. And we have a new Intellivision and Atari console war. That's
right. Bring it on.
Which is about to happen.
This is 40 years later.
Crazy.
Right?
Yeah, and I guess when you and I review games,
got your money on?
When you and I review games in the future, it can only be we review Atari games, I guess, is the only which.
Oh, what do you mean? I'm biased. Haven't you been reading the message boards for 17 years?
Yes. Now you are truly biased.
Now I'm biased. I'm going to give every Intellivision game a 7 or higher. And I'll tell you what, I'm honest when I say that, because no game is getting on our system. We're going to have again, imagine if you're a parent and or anyone, forget just a parent. Imagine being able to start up a machine. And I mean, I'm kind of putting guys like me, guys like you, who are reviewing games out of business a little bit.
Right.
But imagine if you could have a system that you knew that every single game that was on the system was going to be quality.
Well, I look forward to reviewing those games and holding you to your word, my friend.
That's right. Oh, shit.
I am excited as hell. This is a big transformation. It's an out-of-nowhere surprise, but it makes tremendous amount of sense. I know our viewers have been super happy to have you on today, and this is the first of many conversations as you enter this new part of your career, and congratulations, my friend. It's incredible.
Thank you.
Bravo.
Well, we got to get you a system as soon as we have one available. I want your input. Like I said, you know more about games than anyone. So if you're not careful, I'm going to hire you, and then we'll make games together.
Well, let's catch up.
Screw reviewing them. Let's make them.
Let's catch up in 2 weeks at E3, brother.
For sure, we'll do that.
Sound good? Okay.